Have you ever looked at your life and wondered, is this all there is? Have you ever felt like the world handed you a map, but forgot to give you a destination? Maybe you were born into struggle. Maybe you've been working hard your whole life and still feel stuck. You're not alone. So many of us carry the silent weight of lost potential, not because we're lazy, but because we don't know where the exit is from a life that feels too small for our dreams. But what if I told you, your beginning doesn't have to be your ending? What if where you started has nothing to do with where you can go? There's a powerful phrase, simple but unforgettable, spoken by one of the richest, most influential minds of our time. He said, "If you are born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it's your mistake." Bill Gates. Let that sink in for a moment, not as a judgment, but as an invitation. This isn't about money alone. It's about responsibility, about reclaiming your power, even when life tries to take it from you. It's a reminder that while you may not choose the starting line, you do get to shape the finish. Bill Gates, a name the world knows, founder of Microsoft, visionary, billionaire, philanthropist. But before all of that, he was just a curious kid from Seattle, not born into poverty, no, but not born into greatness either. What made him different wasn't money, it was mindset. This quote, "If you are born poor, it's not your mistake, but if you die poor, it's your mistake," wasn't a boast, it was a wake-up call. He spoke it during an interview that wasn't about wealth, but about opportunity, about how in a world full of knowledge, tools, and second chances, we can no longer hide behind excuses. And yet, so many of us still do, because we're tired, because we've failed before, because sometimes hope feels heavier than giving up. Have you ever felt that? That maybe it's too late for you to change? Too late to build something meaningful? Too late to become who you were meant to be? You're not alone. And that's exactly why this quote matters. Let's pause for a moment and truly feel what this phrase is saying. If you are born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it's your mistake, huh? At first glance, it might sound harsh, almost cold. But look closer. It's not an accusation. It's a mirror. It tells us something profound. Where you begin is circumstance. Where you end is decision. We don't choose our birth. We don't choose the family we come from, the struggles we inherit, or the wounds we carry into adulthood. But as we grow, as life unfolds, we are given choices, tiny ones every day, to learn, to try, to ask for help, to start again, even after failure. Think of your life like a blank page. Maybe someone scribbled on the first half before you even held the pen. But the second half, that's still yours to write. This phrase isn't just about money. It's about ownership. You can be emotionally poor, poor in love, poor in confidence, poor in vision, and dying in that poverty, mental, spiritual, emotional, is what this quote dares you to challenge. It whispers, you are not powerless. You can change the story, but only if you're willing to pick up the pen. So, how do we apply this in the real world? What does it actually mean to not die poor in a world filled with anxiety, burnout, and digital noise? Let's bring it closer to home. Anxiety. Today we live in a world where everything moves fast. We're constantly comparing ourselves on social media. Everyone seems to be winning, except us. But you know what real poverty is? The poverty of peace. If you're waking up anxious every day, feeling like you're not enough. You're not poor in money. You're poor in inner stillness. And that can be changed. Start small. Limit your exposure to toxic content. Take 10 minutes a day to be with yourself. No screens. Journal. Meditate. Breathe. That's not luxury. That's survival. Lack of purpose. Many people go to jobs they hate, surrounded by people who don't see them, doing things they don't believe in. That, too, is a kind of poverty. And yet, sometimes you can't quit tomorrow. But you can begin a slow journey towards something more meaningful. Maybe it's reading one book, learning one new skill, starting one conversation that opens a door. Success isn't a lottery ticket. It's a series of small, repeated acts of courage. Broken relationships? Emotional poverty often shows up in the way we love, or fail to. If you've grown up without healthy examples of love, it's not your fault. But carrying that pain forward, pushing people away, repeating the same patterns, that becomes your responsibility. Healing is hard, but it's possible. Through therapy, forgiveness, vulnerability, you can rewrite your patterns. Digital and social pressure. Every day we are bombarded with images of perfection. We feel behind, unseen, exhausted by the need to perform online. But here's the truth. You don't have to live a life that looks good. You deserve a life that feels real. And that shift, from performance to presence, that's the beginning of true wealth. The wisdom in Bill Gates' quote isn't about becoming a millionaire. It's about refusing to settle for a life that doesn't honor your potential. It's about building inner richness, resilience, clarity, compassion, purpose, that kind of wealth. No one can take it from you. So, what does it really mean to die poor? It means leaving this world having never known your strength, having never spoken your truth, never loved fully, never lived, only survived. But that's not your destiny, not unless you let it be. You were born into a story already in progress. But how it ends, that's still your chapter to write. You don't have to build an empire. You don't have to be famous. But you do have to be honest with yourself about what you really want from this life. So today I invite you, start small, start messy, but start. Invest in your growth, reclaim your time, speak kindly to yourself, love deeper, take the risk. Because if you were born with very little, you still have one of life's greatest gifts, the chance to become more. Don't compare yourself with anyone in this world. If you do so, you are insulting yourself. Bill Gates. And if this message spoke to you, share it with someone who may be stuck. Someone who forgot that the future is still wide open. Someone like the you from a few years ago. Because sometimes the right words, at the right moment, can save a life. Even if that life is yours. If you felt something here today, consider subscribing. Not for numbers, but so we can keep growing together. Until next time, live wisely, love bravely, and never forget, you weren't meant to stay where you started.